How are we doing?
We're doing
Welcome,
great.
welcome, welcome, Jamie. And I missed Speakers Club tonight. Hold on, I have to just pull this up and move this over. All right, well, let's see who's out there tonight in
Okay.
Facebook land. Let me just go to where it says. Dun-dun-dun. I just want to double check because I want to make sure that if I see anybody that has any questions. All right, George Gilbert. Of course he would. He's got pets too, right? I mean, look at what Dory
He
did. So
does.
how are you doing tonight, Jamie? How you
I'm
feeling?
doing I'm doing great.
Well,
I got off Speakers Club. I ran and fed the pets. I actually left a little early because I'm one of those, you know, people with pets and it's like I have to leave. I got to go take care of them.
it's so true because I have to do that, especially in between Zoom meetings, because the dogs will come over. And I had one dog, but now I've managed to now have three dogs, so they keep me busy. And I have to tell they want to go outside.
Yeah.
My 9-year-old Dane, she's simple and easy, but the 3-year-old, she's going to be three, the golden retriever. Oh my gosh, does she have a lot of energy? That's for
Yes.
sure. And she gets right in my face, and I have to give her love. So,
Yes.
anyway, so
Mine is
everybody,
not sickly. And I have a foster kitty in the spare bedroom who
oh,
has so
you sound like my friend Jan. If Jan's watching tonight, I sent her a note to watch. She fosters kitties as well. So I'll have to tell you a story about that after. But you know what? I want to welcome you tonight. And I'm just going to just check over to my the other area, see who's watching. Because, it's interesting. I talk about love and relationships. And when you had contacted me, we talked about, pets and relationships are really important because when we bring somebody into our life, we just don't know how, if they have pets, if we're going to like their pets. It's just like bringing and blending families. But I want to welcome you, and I want to formally just tell everybody, first of all, I've known Jamie Lee for a while from Speakers Club. She is a fabulous speaker. Everybody out there in Facebook land, I aspire to be as good as she is.
oh, you're so sweet.
But I want to share with you a few things about her. Her love for pets is near and dear to my heart because I am one of those people. I carry dog bones in my car in case there's a stray pet on the street. So anyway, but Jamie, so let me have her bio up here. So Jamie has been, let me see, she has had 18 years working in the field of animal Reiki, where you had opportunities to really study with the masters. And my understanding is a Japanese Buddhist. My gosh, that must have been interesting.
Yes.
A
Yes, it was.
holistic veterinarian, which I think is wonderful today, and other pet experts. And you bring this wonderful, vast knowledge about the animals and their welfare, and you speak on the power of human connection and bonds and how it benefits the pets and also our own lives as well. And I know you're an activist and a long lover of animals. And, sometimes we like animals more than people. Not that we don't want to have relationships, everybody out there, but our pets are endearing. They love us no matter how we look, what we say, right? So, Jamie, talk to us a little
Absolutely.
bit about, share with us a little bit about you and pets and people.
All right. Well, Maria, thank you for having me on. This is going to be so much fun. I hope everyone has such a great time because I always have fun talking about pets. But if you ask any single person, they're probably going to tell you that it's tough out in that dating world, right? Unless you have someone like you, Maria, helping them, things can get pretty darn ugly.
I love you for
Now,
that, Jamie. Go ahead.
now just throw a cat or dog into that relationship. Mhm. And if you don't believe me that that can really change things, a recent dating survey, people stated that they believe a pet can make or break a relationship. So there's Nicole was dating a new guy and she thought he was a great guy. He was attractive, he was successful, he always dressed in tailored suits. So one Saturday they decided to meet up and have a very relaxed brunch and then maybe go get massages. And she thought, hey, this would be great. I can pick up my dog, Bowie, and we can go to the dog park afterwards. Then her date showed up, and he was wearing a custom tailored caramel colored leather jacket and a white pair of slacks. And she knew right then that this relationship wasn't going to last. Because Nicole, her dog wasn't just her pet. He was a family member and a very important part of her life. Her job is building websites for nonprofit organizations. And when she's not working, she's either hanging out at the dog park with her dog, or she's organizing fundraisers for her local animal shelter. And she didn't want someone beside her at these dog events being uncomfortable or getting angry because some dog's jumping up on them or they're getting hair on their nice clothes. So for Nicole, her furry friend factors into every part of her life. And yes, that means dating. And if you think Nicole is unique, think again. Another survey, they surveyed 1,000 singles, and they found that 66% of men and women would not date someone who didn't like pets. 70% of singles think their date's reaction to their pet is very important. And 80% of match members have or like pets. So they're a big part of our dating life. And that's really not so bad because they can teach us some things. First, by having a pet and when you're dating, you get to see something about that other person, like how they treat other people who really can't do anything for them. Dogs or cats can't really do anything for them, or any pet for that matter. But you can find out if that person is kind or compassionate. Second, you get to see how they approach playfulness. Can they get silly and, just make a fool of themselves? Or are they very strict and tight? Third, you get to see how they handle stress. Do they just go with the flow when things go wrong? Because if you have a pet, you have to be able to adapt. Things go wrong, right? Or do they get all uptight when things don't go according to plan? So having a pet in your dating relationship really can help you learn about that other person. But I would say that when it comes to dating and pets, the most important thing to know is what role does your pet play in your life? And be honest with yourself. Are you someone that considers your pet family? Are they an important part of your life? Because that's not going to change just because you're dating someone. Or maybe you're someone that cannot stand having hair on the furniture and you can take or leave pets. Maybe you're thinking that you can negotiate with your pet loving date and come up with a compromise that you can both live with. And you might be able to do that. But before you do, there are some things you should know about dating a pet lover. Date nights could be canceled, especially if the pet gets sick. Or the person may want to stay at home more so they don't have to leave their pet. They also have to plan in advance. So those spur of the moment weekend trips are a lot more difficult. Pet sitters have to be found, arrangements have to be made. And then you really need to remember that pet lovers love their pets unconditionally. And it doesn't matter how much trouble or how naughty they are, we still love them. So ask yourself, are you prepared for that? Too many people, I think, go into a relationship with someone that don't share our same values on pets. You might think you can adjust, but a lot of times that just doesn't work out. So there's this dating app for dog owners, and it's called Dig, which I think is fabulous. Dig, the dating app.
Heard of that one, Dig. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Check it out. I was Googling it, and there's all kinds of dating apps for pet owners. I love it. But I especially caught my eye was Dig. And the idea for this dating app was born when the sister of the app's creator ended a relationship with a man who tried to be a dog person for her, but he really wasn't one. And it started out okay, and there was just small sacrifices, like you have to put a towel on my couch when the dog comes over. But it ended up that he just banned the dog from his apartment, and the relationship didn't last. So if you want your pet to make the relationship, not break it, you have to be honest with yourself. That's the most important thing off the first thing. Are you willing to change or not change, and to what degree? Okay, so get serious. Spend some time thinking about that. You know, like, are you willing to have a pet sitter on standby in case the other person wants to take trips? Are you willing to go to training with your pet? Okay, and that should always be a good advice for anybody. And are you okay if the other person never comes around to loving your pet in the way you do? And once you get really clear on your relationship with your pet, what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do, then you have to be totally honest with that other person. And if you're the one dating a pet lover, you need to figure out what you can and can't live with, and be honest about it with the pet lover. Don't make the mistake of thinking the person is going to change. And isn't that good advice? Anyway, when we're dating, never try to change someone, because if you're honest in the very beginning about your commitment to pets, and that's what it is. It's a commitment, a lifetime commitment, their lifetime. You don't have to worry about the pet making or breaking a relationship, because you're only going to be with someone that shares your values around pets or honors your values of pets. And that is really important. You know, the first thing to do, get clear about where you're coming from and be honest to all the other people. And, you know, if you're a crazy pet lover like I am, there are apps out there just for you, like Dig and all these other websites that you can go on. So go there.
Does that mean you're going to go on Dig, Jamie? Dig? But you know, first of all, I loved what you said. And it is true. When you think about it, there are people there do treat their pets like their family. And that's very important as well. And I have a question for you in a minute, but let me just check in case there are any comments real quickly. So just let me take a look. Okay, so
and I have a question for you in a minute, but let me just check in case there are any comments.
There are some.
Real
Okay,
quickly.
let me just
So
lower
just
this. Just
Okay,
people
so
saying
I have a
hi.
question for you in a minute. Let me just
Ryan
check
is
in
telling
case-
us hi. Let me
Oh,
just.
good. Hello, Ryan.
And also my VA from Montana, Laura Bausman, says hi as well. She was looking forward to this. But you know, it's interesting you
Okay.
talk about that. When you talk about what you need to be clear and what boundaries that you need to set, and trying to be authentic if you really like pets. You know, a lot of the analogies you use is what I use also when I speak to people with going out to date when they have children, and it's the same thing. And when you have
Yes.
to apply, so you might have children and pets, and you need to be flexible if you're dating somebody that doesn't have children, and they say the same thing, that they can get used to children. It's the same thing with pets. You really need to dig deep. Can you? Because nobody wants to have that first argument over that pet. That's a no
Right.
situation. That is a no one situation.
It is a no-win. That's like arguing about someone's children. You know, oh, I don't like your child. Can you get rid of them? you're not going to win that one. And
No.
you're probably not going to win it with the pet.
Well, the thing is, children live a little longer than pets do, so you know they're going to
Yes,
be
they
a
do.
lot longer. But pets are in your life, and you're right. You're there. You've made a commitment to them. And I think when somebody meets somebody that is a pet lover and sees the type of integrity they have and the compassion they have, says a lot. And that also
Absolutely.
spills over. There's a lot of great when you see those assets, the same thing spills over, that they're going to treat you with integrity. They're going to treat you, have compassion, empathy, things like that. So there are two sides to this. But you know what happens? What do you recommend? So for example, I have a Great Dane, as you know, and I have my dog,
Uh,
a dog. So let's say I meet somebody that has a shepherd. Okay, how do you introduce and blend other, pets coming in? What do you recommend?
so whenever you're introducing two animals that don't know each other, you want to do this gradually, but with dogs, a great way to do that is through walking together. And the best way to do that is at neutral territory. So find a park that, maybe neither one of you go to on a regular basis, and each come on your own, get out, meet each other, and walk. And, start by keeping your distance, and just, they don't need to check each other out yet. Just go ahead and do the walk, because when they walk together as a pack like that, it deepens the bond. And so that's a great way to introduce them. Now you may not be, maybe you have like one person has a dog, one has a cat.
Well,
So in that case, you would want to make sure that the cat is someplace where it's protected, and you introduce them gradually. Keep the dog on the leash. It's, all about the introductions. Be really smart about how you do that. Because if you're not, and they have a bad introduction together, all it takes is one time, and the cat may always hate the dog or vice versa. And it could have been avoided with a slower, gradual introduction.
it's interesting you say that because that's true. My a dog who's never been around cats, I had my daughter's two cats here while they were transitioning to their other home. And I really thought that my dog was going to freak. And the cat got out, two cats got out one day, and all she did was just go, "Hmm," and that was it. So you just don't know. But
Oh,
it's
okay.
important. Cats are a
No.
little different. Cats are definitely a
Yes.
lot different, and it takes time to be able to blend them that way. Now, you know what?
Right. And I know some people have had parrots, and the other person had a cat.
Oh,
And if, that can be a dangerous situation. But with parrots, a lot of times there can be a room that you dedicate as the bird room, that you keep the door closed and the cats can't go in. So things like that you can work around if you want to.
well, and parrots and cats have long lifespans. I mean, let's not kid each other.
Oh,
They have
yes.
long lifespans.
Parrots can live 80 years,
Yeah,
so
yes. Long time. You have to will that parrot, right, to somebody else sometimes.
you absolutely do. And, that's part of the responsibility. I think that's what's wonderful about pet lovers, that they make this commitment, and they, especially something like that. I mean, I have a desert tortoise. I will have to find a home for her, because she's going to outlive me. But you just take on this responsibility willingly, because you just have a love for this animal, or love for all animals. And you kind of see it as your job to be um, there for them. So who wouldn't want someone like that in their life?
Yeah.
If they decided that they wanted you in their life, why wouldn't you want someone like that who is going to be there for you no matter what?
I think that's a very interesting analogy that you bring up, because what happens is there are people, as we get a little bit older and we go through life, some of us are not as flexible. So we think we want everything neat and clean, almost minimalistic. You've heard of that term, right? And that's what they
Yes, yeah.
want to be able to have a home that they have very little in, and even as they get older, I don't know me. Listen, I have my dog right now. She's over here, pointing at me too. But no, that's what happens is that I think we get to be, we need to remember to be flexible. And when you meet somebody that really is compassionate, has integrity, and is there for their pet, it says a lot about that person just in general. But what would you recommend to somebody starting out in dating or in a relationship? Do you think they also need to have the talk? Let's say that person is not really a pet person, but let's talk about disciplining. It's just like children. What do you recommend?
Absolutely. You know, there's a quote. Let's see. It's from Will Rogers, and it says, if you get to thinking you're a person of influence, try telling another man's dog what to do.
And
And
I love that. Will Rogers. I
great.
love that quote.
It's so true. And, you know, that will start fights. I have been in fights because of that. And it's just like children. So if they're not your pet, you don't do the discipline. That doesn't mean that maybe you don't go to a training class together, you know, with the person you're dating and the dog. Ask if you can go along and participate. Doesn't mean that you can't do that, but the discipline to keep a happy home should definitely belong to the owner of the pet. Now, the thing with most animals, though, when you discipline them, it has to be done in the moment when you catch them in the act, because none of that we've been taught works where, like, if they made an accident on the floor, you rub their nose in it. Nope, they don't know why you're doing that. They just think that you're kind of a dirty, disgusting person to do something like that. They don't feel guilty. They don't, when they chew something up, yeah, maybe they look guilty. No, they're not feeling guilty that they chewed that up. That's a natural instinct for a dog, you know, to chew things. They know that you're upset because they feel that energy. So they get worried. That's what's happening there. So if you come in, you know, like if you're dating someone and they're not home and you come in the house and you see something wrong, it wouldn't do any good to get upset anyway. You know, just try to clean up the mess or call them and let them know. But definitely, I think you have to be really careful with discipline. I wouldn't focus on discipline as much as gaining the pet's trust. That's what you really need to focus on. If you're dating someone who has a pet, then you want to learn as much about them as possible and gain their trust. And you're going to have a better relationship and you won't have to worry about discipline. The owner can do that and you can have all the fun with them.
And before you know it, that pet's bonded with you because it's like being
Exactly.
the good parent, the fun parent.
Yes.
Right? You listen, everybody's listening to that out there. So, Jamie, just a couple of things. Tell everybody a little bit about what you do and how people can find you.
Okay. So I am a zoolingualist. And what that means is I speak to animals, kind of like Dr. Doolittle, but not really, because I speak to them through energy. So I help pet parents and people involved in competition sports with dogs through the use of energy. And through this energy, you can help dogs relax. You can help them maintain their wellness. You can help them increase their focus, and you can deepen the bond that you share. Because the closer you get together, the deeper that bond is, and the fewer problems actually you have in that relationship. So I teach people how to do that, and I also work one-on-one with my clients. And the way they can get a hold of me, they can check me out on my website. It's animal-bonds.com. And I'm also on Facebook, Jamie Lee Animal Bonds. And I always share information and what I've got going on Facebook and on my website.
Are you doing your Facebook Lives anymore? I didn't know if you were continuing those on Wednesday.
Yes. So I have, if people are interested, what I have is an animal Reiki meditation circle. And so they can join me live on Zoom. It's 6 o'clock at night Pacific time. And all you need is a comfortable place for you and your pet to practice with us, and of course the ability to get on Zoom. And you don't need any Reiki experience, you don't need any meditation experience. I guide you through the entire process, and it's wonderful because you get to kind of dip your toe into the world of Reiki energy and see your pet respond to it because they love it.
And you also have a book. Can't forget your book.
Yes, I do have a book. It is Whispers of Wisdom. Your pet has all the answers. And it's basically a mini Chicken Soup for the Soul, kind of. Only it's stories about animals in my life, the lessons that they've taught me. Some of it is through Reiki. Some of it is just growing up with animals and having them be a part of my life. And so it's the lessons that I've learned from them. And that's on Amazon.
I know you do so many things, but in your previous life, so everybody knows, she was a fire inspector, right? For many, many years.
Yes, I was.
She'll do that. She's still an expert on that, just in case we have anybody out there on Facebook. And if anybody
has
any questions, please feel free. If you take Jamie's information, I'm going to be also putting this out again, also on YouTube, as well as back on Facebook, so that everybody can, of course, enjoy, this particular show. And, Jamie, I want to thank you. Any last words for everybody out there tonight?
I just think that as much as, we all want love. We're all searching for love, and our pets give us unconditional love. So when you find the right relationship that embraces that unconditional love that you share with your pet, that's like icing on the cake.
Thank you.
Or maybe it's some kind of salmon on the milk bone.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. I'm going to definitely have you back, and I will send you a recording. And everybody out there, thank you so much for listening. Remember, your pets are important, just as important as your children in your dating life. Yes. And how somebody you treats their pets gives you an indication. So everybody, good night. Stay safe, stay healthy, and always remember, spread love. Good night, everybody. Yes.